going?
Good. Hold on. You just were in my headphones and now you're
Can you hear me now?
no, yeah, you're good. I don't know why my headphones just disconnected. One sec.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. No rush.
Do I sound fine without them? I thought they might
You
be a
sound
little
good. You
okay.
sound good.
The headphones. All right. Hi.
Hi. Nice to
Remember.
meet you. I'm Stephan.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Yes. Yes, Stephanie with an IE at the end, eh? Yeah. You're just an example of the Stephans, so I reserve being the original.
Yeah, I'm
IE.
an
Yeah.
extension of yeah.
And then you're the son of Robert, I'm the son of Jack.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
noticed that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, our names are like uncanny. So yeah, it's nice to talk to you. Just so you know, like we're starting right now, like it's recording, it's taking everything in, but like if you at any point if like you can text me a few days from now if you want. At any point if any of the stuff you don't like it, feel free to take it. Like just text me and I'll take it off. Or if you don't like the whole thing, we'll just cancel the whole thing. It's no problem.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right. Well, uh hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Canadian Talk. Today's going to be a good one. We have essentially our first female on the podcast. Yeah, thank you very much. So, we are no longer a misogynistic podcast. Gavin McGinnis, I'm no longer the young Gavin McGinnis. Uh, so, basically, we have a girl here today who basically, I like to start the show by just let me go for a little bit. I want to say a few things about you, why you're here, that kind of thing. So, basically, as far as I know, Stephanie is a comedian from Chicago. You went on to a show that I typically get a lot of people off of for my show. Usually, I pick my favorites. You did the show. It was Kill Tony, and what I liked about you most was you didn't necessarily do good. Like your minute wasn't great. Um, but what I liked most was I was watching and you were rolling with all the punches. You looked like you fit in, and you just seemed like a genuine and a nice person when you were up there. So I was like, okay, let's see what this girl's all about. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on the show, and I'm happy to have you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you betcha. So, and as far as I know, you where you started, right? Like you started in like improv, or are you more into acting or comedy?
That's a good question. I started acting like when I was really young, like in musicals and like community theater and
I knew
stuff,
it.
because I really liked comedy. My favorite, I can show you. This is literally a curated piece of Jim Carrey's Unnatural Act, his like one and only stand-up um, special, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Um, I was a huge fan of Jim Carrey growing up, and so I just wanted to be like a comedic actress. And
Yes.
then by the end of high school, that made me cringe, like to acting. I was like, ugh, like I didn't like doing it anymore.
Yeah, I
And
was just
then,
sitting with somebody the other night and I was like and they said the same thing as me. They were like, she looks like an actress. Like she looks like she should be in a movie, you know?
well, I mean, I'll take that. I
Yeah.
don't mind.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Um, and I still really like acting because I do like sketches now. But they're like another comic will write them, and then I'll do them. There's a few of them out there that got a
Okay. I
great.
didn't come across them at all in my research. I saw you just to plug you a little bit more here. By the way, I didn't find any upcoming sets you have. So all that I know right now is you're going back to Kill Tony in 6 months, which is pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
there's
So if
for
you want to
that.
plug any of your sets, feel free to do that right now. Uh,
Um, I'm not necessarily plugging sets right now because I'm truly because of Kill Tony. I'm starting from ground zero. So
yeah, which is
um,
fine. You're a really good joke writer. Like that was one thing I wanted to say really quick. So like right now you're a part of that Sticks and Stones podcast. Is that the podcast related to that Chicago roast show that you do?
yeah. Well, I don't want to claim that I do it or that it's mine or anything. I help produce it at the venue that I help produce shows at the Vixen. I'm not necessarily like associated with them. I'm kind of like the middleman and I bring them over to my venue. But none of that really relates to like anything that I do like with my stand up, I guess, if I'm answering your question right. I Wait, ask me again. I don't I'm like
Oh,
lost on the
okay. So my question was, I don't even know if it was a question actually. Yeah, I was just saying that you do a roast show at
yes.
Chicago Roast Battle, right? And then I saw you on a podcast. It was the only one I could find, and it was called Sticks and Stones. But it looked like they were a part of the same thing. The Sticks and Stones podcast was a part of the roast thing, or no?
I'm just trying to figure out what, because I've never been on the Sticks and Stones pod. You're right. You are
Oh,
right about
what was that? Sorry. Oh, sorry. It's called Fuck You Dad. But it,
the
it was
fuck.
on the
Oh,
Sticks and Stones YouTube. That's my bad. Sorry about
no,
that. Sorry about that.
no, I got you. We're on the same page now.
Okay.
So yes, Stones now has like their own content, platform where they're doing the Sticks and Stones Chicago Roast Battle, because they are now affiliated with the Roast Battle and they are Chicago's like very own roast battle. And then they also now do. They've taken over other people's platforms, and like they're, I don't
Mhm.
know, being a
Yeah.
conglomerate or
Well,
something.
maybe they're growing. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah,
A
no,
couple of quick comments I thought of while you were talking there was I watched your roast battle. Well, first off, if somebody wants to find you online, they can find you at Stephanie and three underscores Robertson, right, on Instagram.
yep.
Yep. And then do you have like a website or anything else other than that where people can find you?
No, I don't have a website. It's mainly just Instagram right now.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so just go to Instagram.
Cool.
That's all I got
Yeah,
right
I
now.
watched your roast with Olivia Carter, and I can't believe that they gave that one to her. I was like, "You won that."
I won the whole thing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought I thought the particular one that I saw on YouTube, they gave it to her. Or wait, no,
Mm.
I'm thinking of Cass, the guy that you wrote that you battled.
Oh, yeah. That he was a winner in that one for
That one.
sure.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, I can't remember a thing today. Literally,
No, that's
I just watched Team Canada lose at the World Juniors right now. Are you aware of the World Juniors? And
no
honestly, I feel like I have you to blame a little bit if you can believe it, because
why.
our fucking best player Bedard is on the Chicago Blackhawks, and he should be at this tournament right now. So, like, literally, Chicago is the reason that our World Junior team has just
We're
got
messing
destroyed by
up.
Sweden. You want to know my other theory is, uh, Sweden weed is still illegal. I am worried that our fucking youngins are getting infected by this weed. Like, I was watching the game out there; they were slow, sorry, I won't talk about sports too much. They were
Uh,
slow. Their cardio seemed bad. They were second guessing themselves. I was like, this looks like textbook weed. You know, like I
yeah,
watched it happen to me when I was in my 20s and I gave up on hockey and I watched myself slow down. But yeah, I saw it out there and I was like, oh, geez.
I
Well,
feel that.
do you like sports at all?
Um, I'll watch sports. I'm not really like into them. I don't follow them necessarily. But I like to play recreationally. Like
Hmm.
I like to, throw a ball around every now.
Sounds like you're a real athlete.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No,
Well,
but
sorry, please continue.
no, I was gonna say, speaking of weed, and it messing everything up, that was a part of the whole Kill Tony thing, which I hate to even admit.
Oh,
Uh,
you did seem a little high up there. Not gonna lie, yeah.
because okay, so I don't know if you want me to talk about it a little bit and like
Absolutely, yeah, please.
little backstory. So I went to Texas with Olivia Carter. She's a great comic. She used to live in Chicago. That's where we met, and she's moved to New York now because she basically conquered all of Chicago, and in terms of like the comedy scene. And
Yep.
so now she's in New York, and she asked me, she's like, "Let's go to Texas," and I was like, "Okay, let's go to Texas." And so we get there, and um, she like didn't really know too much about Kill Tony, so she was like, "Should we sign up?" And I go, I don't know. It's kind of a brutal show. Like, I've watched it. I've looked. I check in every now and then. So I knew about it. She didn't really know about it. So she gets called first, which is insane. We were at Creek and Cave, and so someone like messages her, and so we run like the 3 blocks over, and she like gets ready to go up on stage. And so at that point I was like, oh, like this is it. Like she got called. Like
Yep.
there's no chance that both of us will be called, because like everyone around me, I'm waiting for, I'm like holding her coats and her purse while she's like on stage, and you can't see anything, you don't know anything that's going on stage, you have no access to it. So I'm just standing around holding her coat and her purse, just being like, well, this is it. Like she got the opportunity. Like, this is great. And then she gets off stage and she's like, I just had a great set. Like, that was so fun. She also like had no idea how many people were gonna be in the room because she just didn't understand the capacity of what Kill Tony is.
Yeah.
And so, dude, that's so awesome. You had a great set. Like, you don't understand how huge this is for you. Like, everyone's gonna see it. And I was like super hyped for her. While I was waiting, this guy that we had met like invited me over to like come smoke with them. So I was like, yeah, sure, I can smoke. Like, I'm not doing anything tonight. Like, the night's over. Like, we're good. And even there's like this other open mic in the same room that lets you practice a minute. And then I asked him, I was like, should I go up and like just go try a minute or whatever? And then he was like, yeah, I could probably get you up. And I was like, nah, I smoked. I shouldn't. Like, I wasn't even willing to go up at this open mic because I had smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Olivia like comes out and like we go and like take a walk to the car and put things away. We like come back, we're like talking about it. I'm like telling her like how like awesome, like, you know, I was so happy for her. Like, truly, I was like, this is gonna be so huge for you, dude.
Yeah.
And she was like, really?
I
Like,
believe
yeah,
that about 50%.
I'm like, I'm like, a million people are gonna see you, like, and if you had a great set, like you're telling me you did, like, it's gonna be great, you know. And then like 2 hours later, so this was like, she was first called, I was last called if you don't count the
Yes.
last guy. And so it was 2 hours later, so like within that amount of time I go, the show's over, it's done, like my mind is turned off now. We are walking out of the building because I'm like, we haven't heard anyone's name called in a while. We were also in like a separate part of the room where you couldn't really hear anything that was going on. So I was like, yeah, let's like leave, like the night's done. And as I was walking out, my name gets called and I was like, no. I was like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. Wow.
not ready. Like,
That's
I'm
quite
not.
the story. I'm not ready. Yeah, that was quite the story. Like, that's crazy that happened, you know?
Yeah,
And one thing I was going to say is that, like, and I don't know, this probably comes from you practicing on with that roast battle stuff. And like, it was funny because at first, because they're not used to it, it didn't seem like it was working out for you, the sort of the dialogue you were having with the audience. But then it started to catch on. And this is what I wanted to add also, because I said you didn't do good. But the reality is that, like, the interview portion, you did do good. By the end, like, Tony loved you. He was like, I will let you go forever. And
I
you
know.
know, I mean, Red Band was stabbing himself while you were up there, but
Sure was.
how did that make you feel to look over and see that?
I was miserable. Like, that was one thing I read. By the way, I've read all the comments. I've read all the Reddit. I I truly like sat in it for a whole like almost 2 weeks of just
Hmm.
being like, what just happened? Because I even got like messages after the show from some of the people who like were there live. They were like, you were so likable. And I'm like, how are you, how can you bomb and be likable at the same time? I'm like, I don't
Exactly.
understand
And that's why
what.
I was impressed.
I like, and it doesn't make sense to me, you know. It's like, it's an oxymoron, like that's not possible, but people were telling me that, and like I was so confused. So I was like, I was reading all the comments, I wanted to know, I really wanted to know how people perceived me and like what actually happened up there, because I was miserable after it happened. And so on stage, right, like I'm knowing I'm bombing, I know that it's everything that could have gone wrong is going wrong. And I just become like completely like humiliated. And so I just kind of like just shut down and I know the show, I know what's about to happen. And it happened. Tim fucking took shots at me. Tony took shots at me. Red Band
Yeah.
was taking himself. He wanted to fucking kill himself up there listening
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of like, I just like bunkered down and was like, here we go. Like, here it's
Yeah.
happening.
It was
Um,
courageous. Yeah.
and people in the comments, people were like, she was so smug up there. Like, there were like so many comments saying I was like cocky and smug. And I was like, dude, if I was cocky and smug, I would have been shooting shots back at them. Like, what I was doing
Exactly.
was just, and
Yeah.
like,
I don't know how
and,
they can call you cocky and smug when Rick Diaz has been up there.
but that's what I'm saying. I was like, that is not me being cocky and smug. That is me being absolutely humiliated and just
Yeah.
fucking taking it on the
Yeah.
chin.
Yeah.
And and like in my head, I'm so self-aware, which was like also an issue of like, I knew how important the show was. I knew how many people were about to see this epic atomic bomb. And so it just like ruined me on stage. So I was just
Yeah.
like, yep, yep. Yeah, thanks, Tim Dillon. I know it sucks. Like everything sucks that just happened, and I couldn't believe. I told Tony on stage. I was like, "You could have kicked me off like minutes ago. Like, why
Yeah.
am I still here? Like, it's
Yeah.
my show.
Yeah.
You are." And I'm just like,
Yeah, like not gonna lie, and this must happen a lot. Yeah, honestly, it looked like Tony had. I believe Tony probably has a crush on you. That's what it seemed like.
yeah,
Up there because he was like, "I'm giving you a chance. I'm giving you a chance. Here's your chance." And yeah, it
I
went
know.
good. Yeah.
Lucky, lucky me.
Did
No,
you?
I know a lot of people were like, he probably just wants you back so he can fuck you. And I'm like, he didn't try after. I'm like, I was there,
Mm,
like, and I was hanging out in Mitzi's bar too. He
yeah.
was right, like literally right next to me, didn't say anything to me. So
Fair
I
enough.
don't know really why he wants me back to humiliate myself again, but I'm not gonna let that happen. Like that's
One
just not.
second.
It's not that I like now that I got it out of the way and like the experience, I can really like think about what like how I want to come off time. And I've been running new material. I have not told jokes since the show because that's ridiculous. Why would I do that? So I'm just like rewriting my whole set, which is good because I
Good.
needed that. I needed
Good.
the push that. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, did you see me run away there for a second?
Motivate.
Oh,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Sorry, we just had an internet issue for a second. Just 1 second. Okay, we're back to it. Okay, so yeah, as we were saying, you went on Kill Tony, crazy experience. Tony's not interested. Oh yeah, but you're a single person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you must get hit on by a lot of people when you're like at those types of venues, right? Because comedians aren't necessarily known as the most beautiful of people usually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Have you? Do you? Okay. Well, do you know who Sam Talent is?
Yes.
Did you see his special?
Uh,
Toad's Morale.
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. Well, let's stop the podcast. You go watch it right now. So, who are? So, I want to just kind of talk to you a little bit about sort of your road to where you are here now, and what sort of inspired you. So, in terms of like some of your inspirations, who would you think of?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, Jim Carrey was a huge inspiration growing up. Just getting myself into like comedy in general. It was
Yeah.
him.
Hmm.
Him and Lewis were like huge for me. I'm like really big on physical comedy. Not doing it myself, but just watching it. I love it.
Did
And
you
then
say Jerry Lewis?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then in terms of like stand up, I mean, I grew up watching a lot of stand up. I was like huge on Stephen Wright. And then of course like Louis C.K. came into the picture and I still think he's the GOAT. I think
He
he's the
is
best.
the goat. Yeah. I
No
love
matter
him.
what.
Have you seen
Unfortunately,
his movie with Joe List there, the 4th of July?
no, I actually haven't.
Okay.
And
Have you seen his Madison Square Garden, his new set? Or oh,
yeah,
that was something. That was so
yeah,
good.
so good.
Uh,
I saw live twice in the past
mhm.
2 years. So I got to see him like work out some of that material. It was super
Wow,
cool.
that's pretty cool. The
Yeah.
best I've been, like, I haven't really gone out of Canada too much. I've been to the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, and I got to see Theo Vaughn and a few guys kind of like him. Actually, I guess I got to see Joey Diaz, which was pretty sweet. So
That's,
yeah,
I love
yeah,
I love him. He's so great.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just I just grew up watching Comedy
Okay,
Central present so like comics I don't remember the names of who aren't necessarily huge, but they got Comedy Central like half hours. I was the biggest Comedy Central person. Like I
okay.
watched everything on there.
And like, it
Um,
seems like, did you ever, or were you ever in like acting classes? Like, I get the vibe that you are like, you probably signed up for some sort of an improv group or something like that. Did you do anything like that?
yeah, I was in speech and debate for 1 year in
Oh,
college.
debate.
Yeah, and I wasn't a big fan of speech because there were a lot of formalities that you had to meet. you had to like hold the binder, and like you couldn't make eye contact with your scene partner. It was weird stuff. I wasn't into it. And then I went to DePaul for my last 2 years of college and auditioned for improv and got on the team, the DePaul Improv and Sketch Comedy team. And then I didn't love working with an ensemble, so I was like, I really want to do comedy, so I have to just try this stand-up thing. Like I want to get it off my chest. And so then I
Yeah.
finally 2020, I my first open mic was in 2020, when there was like this random little window where like bars opened up again for like a week, and I did a 5-minute set, and it went well enough for me to be like, okay, let's do this again, let's try this again.
Nice.
And
Nice.
then so I officially started in February of 2021.
Oh yeah. So okay, so I wanted to ask you, like, because you were saying all that religious stuff, you kind of look like you might be a traveling missionary to kind of like lure people into a church or something like that. Like, are you actually affiliated with any religion, or was that all just kind of part of the shtick?
No, I mean, I grew up Catholic. I was
Okay.
raised Catholic, um, which is just Catholic education. Every Wednesday, I was there. I got confirmed and everything. And I am not Catholic anymore. But my mom was absolutely. She had those weird, like, hypocritical Catholic values that they all carry with them.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me tell you one that's going to shock you, but with my parents.
yeah.
I was raised sort of religious, right? I was raised by two women. So my
Oh,
parents are lesbians
right.
and religious. And I remember being
Right.
like 12 years old, being like, do you guys realize that the book that you like, they say they should kill you, hey? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, I was a little bit shocked by that in terms of hypocrisy. Sorry, please continue.
No, you're right. I mean, well, then that's kind of why we fell out of it, and my parents didn't make us like go to church anymore, because my brother actually came out as gay.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real. And yeah, all of my jokes come from
We're
like
all
real.
about your brother. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, well, that set, that little bit right there was about like him coming out, and like, me experiencing it with him, and like, because
Yeah.
my mom, cried for a week. She cried for a week straight. Asked, she was like, "Where did I go wrong?" And I was like, "You didn't go wrong. Like, why are you being so dramatic about your son? Like,
Yeah.
everyone could tell." I'm like, "How could you not know?" It's
Yeah.
like, it's
Do you and your
yeah,
brother have a pretty close relationship?
yeah. I love my brother.
What's
Yeah,
his name?
he's my twin brother, Stephan.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I think you said it in the show. Yeah, I was gonna say he's like got the same name as me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
My,
So we can skip past this if you want or whatever. But you have like you said you work in an office. Honestly,
mm,
that's like my that was literally what drove me to comedy was working in office. It is so much suffering for me. I can't even believe the modern day environment for a man working in an office is so hard.
yeah. I mean, I when I started comedy, I worked a 9 to 5, and then I actually quit recently.
Oh, okay.
Um, so now I work for the venue that I mentioned, with like the whole roast battle producing thing.
Yeah.
And I just do like little gigs to make extra money. So
Yeah. Fair enough.
I'm out of 5 now too, because I was miserable. I hated it. It was not my style. When I quit, I literally told my boss, I was like, I'm just not a corporate girly. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And she goes, I know. She's like, I know you're not Stephanie. She would
Yeah.
see me slouched over in my chair. One of the
Yeah.
manager asked if I wanted a pillow at one point. I was like, I don't want to be here. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I got a degree in
I'm just
communication.
imagining your boss at your job seeing like one of your videos of like your black guy jokes or one of those like and I just feel yeah, I
I
don't think she should work here.
I'm like, I'll never be hired for a 9 to 5 again,
Yeah.
especially now I have Stephanie Bombs Kill Tony and all the
Yeah.
things that we're talking about there. I'm like, I'm screwed. I am so screwed.
Yeah, so did you go to university for any type of arts or
No, I gave up. Like, I was not interested in performance anymore. When I after I did improv and wasn't a fan of it, I like gave up. I go, I'm just gonna be a PR girly. I'm gonna do public relations and advertising. Like, I'm gonna get a good job at some office. And that's what I pursued the last 2 years of college, because I just was like so over performance, because it just like wasn't there was I was it was missing something. And then COVID hit, and I graduated into COVID, and all of the internships froze. I couldn't get any jobs. And so I was like, do I really even care? I'm like, I don't actually care I don't care about these jobs. I don't care about this internship. I don't care about public relations.
yeah.
And so I was like, I'm gonna try comedy, and now we're here.
Yeah, and now here we are. You're here with me.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
uh, so you live in Chicago. Were you originally from there or
Well, the suburbs.
suburbs of Chicago? Yeah. And what's it like? What's it like living in Chicago? Is it a lot like Canada? Do you ever go to like the Great Lakes or anything like that?
I mean, Lake Michigan is right, like a 20-minute walk from me.
Oh,
Um,
sweet.
yeah, and I go to the lake. Like in my Kill Tony interview, he's like, "What do you like to do?" And at that point, I was like, "I don't want to talk anymore." So I was like, "I go
I like the
outside."
lake. Yeah, I like the cabin. I've written on my list here. I was like, you like the cabin? That's what I have on my list here. I was going to ask you about your cabin.
Outdoors, I do, and I mean that is true. Like I'll go bike with my brother up
Nice.
Lakeshore.
Okay, God. Thank God you at least bike. I hate it when girls are like, I like the outdoors. I like to hike. It's like,
No,
no, you don't like the outdoors. You just like to walk. Let me see
yeah,
you get hit by two mosquitoes and let's see what happens
no,
now. If you like
no.
hiking, like,
I'll swim in the lake. I love jumping in the lake in the summer, even though it takes like all summer for the lake to warm up. And then like yeah, I mean up where I'm from, like we have Moraine Hills State Park, which I used to go biking with. My dad bikes there like constantly. Um, so I do like the outdoors, but I won't call myself like I'm not like you know a
you
granola
wouldn't
girl.
say you're outdoorsy. Yeah, you just say you like the outdoors. Yeah.
Yeah, like it.
Gotcha.
I like. I'm not, if especially in the summer. I'm like I want to be outside because it's you don't get very many nice days in Chicago, so
True that.
there's not a lot of days out here. So I
Yeah.
like to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. I guess that would be the disadvantage of having such a big lake was it would take forever to heat up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago culture is going to the lake but not going in it because
Yeah.
it's so hot. You're like, let's go to the beach, and then you're like, it's too cold.
Yeah.
it's
Let's
too
just walk around with our feet in there. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah. That's a majority of the summer out here, but
Hmm.
it's I love the lake. No matter.
Okay, so well then, what are some of your other hobbies?
Some of my other hobbies. I mean, honestly, it's always been like some type of performance. So my other hobbies, I don't know. I don't have any, I guess, because like comedy and like acting and like improv, those were my hobbies. Because I used to pursue public relations and advertising in like school, you know.
Hmm.
So those were my hobbies. But now I'm trying to do stand up, not necessarily full time, but just a majority of the time.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. So I guess my hobbies are just like hanging out with people then and like spending time with my family and
Okay, so you're very
um,
social.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess
All
so,
right.
but it's a very casual kind of social. Like my social battery runs out very, very quickly.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, I'm out, guys. See ya. Just Irish goodbye. I do
Well,
that
that's
so much.
yeah. I mean, and that's why I love living close to my brother because when I want to hang out but I don't want to socialize, I go over to his place because we
Mm,
can just like zone out on our phones together, or like
nice.
he'll on the TV, and he has a dog too, so I take care of his dog sometimes, and
Cool. What kind of a
yeah,
dog do you have?
Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzu. Okay, so a cat then.
Yeah, he's my little baby.
I have the coolest animal. I have a Sphinx cat. It's like a
Oh,
hairless. Have you ever seen one of those? It's like a hairless cat.
yeah, those things are crazy.
They
That's
are
really cool.
they're the best. And they like I could go on and on about her, but they like to go under the blanket. Like you know how cats if you put a blanket over them, typically they'll just run away.
I say
This
she's cold. Isn't she like
yeah.
hairless?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's cold all the time, so all she wants to do is cuddle.
that's a great animal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um shit. Let me see what else I got for you here. So, if comedy fails, what's the plan then?
I don't know.
Do you have a give up bone in your body? Do you give up much on things, or do you think that you're in it to win it?
I don't know. That's my problem. Is it, that's why as much as Kill Tony sucked, it was a really good thing for me because when I first started comedy, because I've just been such a fan and a consumer of comedy that I was like, okay, I want to do this just to get it off my chest. Like, I want to do this just to try it out and see how far I can get with it. So, like, when I first started, all I wanted to do was play the Chicago clubs. I was like, that is more than enough for me. I'm more than happy, like just achieving that and feeling good about that.
Mhm.
But then once you actually get involved in it, you're like, damn, like I want more, you
I want
know?
a tour. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, now, and now I feel like my new goal has just been like, just kill Tony, because I was truly like losing sight of a goal before that happened. I was like, okay, now I'm playing the Chicago clubs. Now what? Because
Yeah.
I did what I wanted to do.
That's not a bad plan. I mean, like you should go down there for a few months. I'm planning to go down there in a few months, but like you like cuz every episode if they don't get a girl, they will dig through the bucket and get a girl. So like you have a pretty good chance. You're probably like 50-50 to get on like pretty much every show. Not 50-50, but like probably at
I,
least 1 in 10.
at the time, but I mean, I also have the producer's number. He texted me and he said, "Let me know when you're back." So they're going to put me up when I come back.
Cool. And you could probably
Uh,
go back anytime. I imagine that 6 months is like a loose number. You could just kind of pop
yeah,
back there 4 months,
yeah,
5 months, yeah.
months, because I don't, it's not, and not just for Kill Tony, but just because I really do want to write a new and better set. Because I was doing an average of 10 minutes, 10-minute long sets. I could pull 15 out of my ass if I needed to. But so I'm like, whatever, I'll just take this opportunity to just get better.
Oh yeah. So like what type of things do you like to watch? Like do you watch stand-up comedy all the time? Do you have a favorite TV series or what are you into right now?
I have a hard time like getting into things that either aren't like documentaries or comedy.
Love
Right.
documentaries.
Yeah, I'll watch any documentary. I just watched the documentary about vape, the rise and fall of the Juul vape.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Do
like
you
I'll
think
watch.
vaping is a good like alternative for smoking? Like my mom smoked her whole life and she's been vaping for the past few years now, but I mean like it's still bad for you, right? Is what did the documentary say?
Yeah, I mean, all these kids ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's
And
just going to be something different. Maybe it won't cause cancer, but it'll cause your lungs to fucking, you know.
bam,
Yeah,
like
they'll just vanish.
yeah, I don't know. They'll evaporate. They will become
Yeah.
Mrs. Jewel. I don't know what's better. I'm luckily like I'll smoke every now and then, but I'm not addicted by any means, so I don't have to worry about it. So I'm like, not my problem.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah,
um,
nicotine is addictive. It's great.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 I smoked so much after Kill Tony. That's all I was in Texas. We like bought a pack of cigarettes. It was so bad. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for what I'm watching, I'm not currently watching anything. I'll throw something on every now and then. Like I just threw on Mike Birbiglia's new special just to check it out because I've seen him live too, and I
That's a great
loved
one.
Thank God for Jokes. That was like one of my favorites of his. So yeah, I just threw that on. But like I don't know, like some series that I've finished, like Arrested Development. I've gone through all of those.
I've tried to get into that one and I always like I can never get past like the first season.
Oh man, I loved it. I thought it's so goofy. It's just my style.
Have
I
you ever
like
seen
not
30 Rock?
watching, huh?
Have you ever seen 30 Rock?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you like that one?
Watched all of it through. Mainly because I just didn't have any of the streaming services for the. I actually just got a TV in my room. Shout out. So
Nice. 20-inch TV.
yeah, my friend hooked me up with all of the streaming services. So now I'm getting back into watching things. But I just didn't have Netflix. I didn't have HBO for like the longest time. So and now I have Peacock too. So I should check out 30 Rock. Or finish 30 Rock.
Oh yeah. So do you have
I'm
any
trying.
ideas like if you were to act on a show well you probably start with a show. I don't know how many actresses jump right up to movies, but what do you envision for like a similar movie that you've seen like or maybe a favorite movie where you're like, "Oh, I could be her," or something like that. Can you think of any off the dome or no?
Great question. Um, that's a great question.
Thank you. You want to say that a few more times? This makes me feel good.
No, that is a good question. Oh, I want to answer it. I don't know.
Well, we can come
I'm gonna,
back to it. Just let
I
that
was gonna pause this because now I really want to answer that
yeah.
question. But I think I would want to play in a show like Arrested Development, even if I am the straight straight character, like the straight man in the show. Oh my god, I want to answer this question
How
so
about
bad.
this? How
But
about just think about it for a second, and I got another little premise here, and then you can just keep it in your mind. Show that you think you would be in.
yeah,
So like, do you ever think that, because like you said your mom's kind of religious, do you ever think that, like, because I've always thought that comedy is sort of like it's like a new religion sort of, and like comedians are sort of like preachers in a way. So like,
yeah,
in a sense, just we changed around a few words, but in a sense you sort of are a lure for a church in a sense, if comedy is a secular church, right?
to follow your thought. Yeah, like you want people to agree with you and to believe and to see the way you see things.
Yeah, and comedians are up there, they're on stage, they're preaching, they're trying to teach people good things. Like ultimately, that's what they're trying to do, you know? Or do you think comedy is like religion or no?
Sure. I mean, yeah, like so to speak, sure, I do because I've followed it my whole life. Like
Do
I
you think there's
handle
some subconscious part of you? Sorry to interrupt. Do you think there's some subconscious part of you that's like your mom, like leaching towards that sort of a practice of, well, helping people, really?
yeah, maybe. I mean, I mean, comedy helps people get through things all the time, just as religion does,
Exactly.
When people
Exactly.
are sad, they turn to religion. When people are sad, I turn to comedy. Like it's so
Me
yeah,
too.
I think that is true in a way.
Mhm.
You can't kind of treat it as like I used to think comedians were like they were my superheroes,
Yeah, me
So
too. So do you?
so
So sorry. So so you're mostly into stand up. Do you watch podcasts or consume podcasts much? Do
yeah.
you have any favorites?
I love Take Your Shoes Off with Rick Glassman.
I fucking
Um,
knew it. I knew it. My buddy, he's going to see this and he's going to laugh. I literally said to her, I said, I'm going to tell her, like, I'm going to treat it like, do you know who Lauren Compton, the First Date podcast is? You heard of that one or no? I said, I'm going to treat this like it's just relaxed, and because just like what Rick does. And I knew you'd get the shtick. Cause like,
yeah,
ultimately that the best friend energy, like Matt and Shane's secret podcast, that best friend energy, that'll get viewers. But
yeah,
also so will the awkward guy girl like
yeah,
interactions. That was what made what's her face? Bobby Althoff or whatever.
yeah,
That
yeah,
made her. That made her. So anyway,
yeah.
I just felt like
I
bragging with a little bit of comedy knowledge there for a second. Yeah, so Rick Glassman's Take Your Shoes Off is great.
love Rick Glassman. I love Bill Burr's podcast. I love anything from Your Mom's House. And then I was watching Bad Friends a lot over like quarantine and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I'll tune into like Joke World and watch a bunch of compilations like from We Might Be Drunk or I mean,
Yeah.
I watch I'll like and then Daniel Tosh's new
Yes.
podcast.
Yes, he jumped on the bandwagon too. Yeah.
God bless, because I'm. You can ask any of my friends. I was like, I will pay to see Daniel Tosh. Like, he is probably the only comic right now, other than like Louis C.K. and maybe Bill Burr, that I would pay to see live, and like any amount of money. Like, I will spend it. I love Daniel Tosh growing up, and so the fact that he's out with a podcast, I'm like, this is making my
Yeah,
my
that's awesome. Hey, for
yeah.
sure.
So
Cool.
yeah.
So do you have a favorite Jim Carrey movie? Mm.
I mean, sure, but also they're all my favorite.
Yeah,
I love Dumb and Dumber so much.
yeah.
I think it's just such a good comedy,
I
and
have the
Jeff
whole
Daniels.
movie memorized, but yet I still watch it every like three
Oh yeah,
weeks.
I'll put it on. It's
You know
like
what I liked also about it is uh, that the sequel was good too. Like anybody who says Dumb and Dumber 2 isn't good, you're wrong. You know?
I I am Jim Carrey's biggest fan, so I will agree with that. Even though some of the parts in the sequel, I'm like, ugh.
When they go to try, oh sorry, yeah, I may have you can disagree with me. It's okay.
No,
When they go to the embalming lady and they he gives her the letter and they come back to her house and it's like the address is that's the return address and so because he came right back to
no, they
what.
have some there. But I don't know. I love the original so much. I think if we're talking sequels, Ace Ventura 2 holds its own. I think that's probably like a good
Can't
sequel that
disagree with that for sure.
I um Like it's just it has more jokes than the first movie. So
Mhm.
even though I like the first movie a little more, but you can't go wrong with either
Yeah.
of the Ace.
So you met Olivia Carter in comedy or at one of these things, or were you guys friends prior to that?
No, we met like just I saw her. I remember seeing her at an open mic and being like, yeah, like I thought she was so funny. I was so excited that she was in the scene with me. Like, so we just kind of like we were like attracted to each other. We like, we just thought I thought she was so cool and so funny, and I wanted to be her friend. And so we met in like 2022, maybe end of 2021.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you
we
guys
met.
work good together too because you're not stepping on each other. She's the blonde, you're the brunette. Just so that
Yeah, we similar but very different at the same time, which
yeah.
it um,
Yeah,
yeah.
somebody I was hanging out with the other day, they were like, "Wait, so you're interviewing Kristen Stewart?" I was like, "No, no, that's I know she looks like her." And then the other one was this was my thought. I was like, "I thought you looked more like Zoe Deschanel than Kristen Stewart."
Done both of those, and
Yeah,
that's fine. You know
yeah,
what? Zoe is
for
Jim
sure,
Carrey.
for sure.
So I'll take that. Yeah, I actually got senior superlative in high school for celebrity lookalike, and it was for Kristen Stewart.
Fair
So
enough. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I didn't think of that one then. I thought of a different one. Sweet.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. So, what else? I mean, I think we're just about at an hour, so we pretty much got an episode here, but I just want to think about what else we could talk about. Can you think of anything you want to say on the pod or anything like that?
Well, I don't know. I think. Well, I do appreciate that you asked me more questions than just about Kill Tony
Yeah,
because I'm because I've talked to so many people about this. Not necessarily. I've been on one podcast talking about it, and that was all we talked about.
exactly. Yeah.
And then so I was like, oh, this one will probably be the same. So I appreciate you asking me more about and like doing some research. So that was super cool of you. I really do want to answer that movie question, but I think I'll have to like maybe text it to you or
Yeah.
something.
Let's leave it. Let's leave it because then you won't pigeonhole
Maybe,
yourself.
maybe your followers can answer that and tell me
Yes,
where
put
I.
it in the comments, you guys, what movie you think she would like fit in. They could just sub her in. Maybe it's fucking Kristen Stewart's movies. I don't know. But I
I
guess she
don't want
doesn't do any funny movies, does she? Oh wait, she did that movie with Jesse Eisenberg or whatever.
that movie. I know which one you're talking about. I don't remember the name of
It's
it,
like it's
but
not.
I know
Yeah,
I watched.
it's about that government program or whatever. Yeah.
I actually really like that movie. I liked her in that. I was never a fan of Twilight. The only reason I've seen Twilight is because all of my friends at the time, we were like in middle school, they were obsessed with it. So I would just go along and watch it
Yeah.
with them. But
Yeah.
I'm a fan of her, so I was like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't want to look like her.
Fair enough. Fair enough. By the way, I am laughing over here. I'm just trying to laugh quietly because I noticed that, and I don't know if this is a glitch or what, but I noticed that my mic, every time I talk, it is silencing you on your end. So I was like, okay, I better laugh quietly here.
That's
Well,
okay.
okay,
I
well,
laughs. That's
thank you. I just want to say thank you to you as well. I'm a growing show. I don't have a bunch of people yet, but I really appreciate it. I'm gonna, every time I have a chance, I'm gonna promote you, just like I do with anybody on the show that I think is good. Uh, one comedian I would suggest you check out is do you know who Ben Bankus is?
mm-mm.
He
Mm-mm.
he is right now. He is honestly the biggest up and coming comedian in Canada. He he is the only guy who made a special that was like particularly attacking all the stupidity of COVID and stuff, and he's funny, and he has probably the best N word joke I've ever heard in my life too. So yeah, definitely check him out. He has three specials out. His best one is Please Wear a Mask. So they're all free
Okay.
on YouTube too. So go check those out.
Yeah, I
And
definitely.
yeah, well, I guess thanks for coming on the show. And that's Canadian Talk.
The bucket of destiny has spoken. Make some noise for Stephanie Robertson, everybody. Stephanie Robertson. As we make our smooth descent.
Thank you, yeah. How's everybody this Thanksgiving? Oh, you guys are honest. Good. That's nice. Yeah, mine sucked too. My parents pulled out the baby photos, you know how they do against your will? And I was looking through my nursery album of my twin brother and I realized my mom themed our nursery after Noah's Ark. I like this part because I can tell who's read the Bible. You godless sons of bitches. What the fuck? Yeah, well, apparently my mom didn't know either. I don't know if you guys know this, but in the story, God floods the earth because of sinners like you. And he tells Noah to put these animals on a ship. I don't know if you guys know this, but those animals aren't a ship because they're family. Yeah, they're there to fuck each other. Yeah, and so I was like, Mom, what were you thinking putting my twin brother and I in a crib under these pretenses? Did I run out of time? It's a 0. I don't know. What am I looking? Am I still sorry? Oh, fuck me, you guys. Okay. Just go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, talk.
There was nothing that was good that was gonna happen anyway. Nothing happened during the 60 seconds. That said 0 the whole time, which is how many punchlines you had.
Bogus. Yeah, I know. I fucked that up. I've never practiced a 1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long you been doing stand-up?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Where at?
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
Yeah.
You just visiting us?
Yes, I am. This is my first day here.
First day here?
Or second day, yeah.
Second day.
A day and a half.
Okay, how's it been going so far?
Pretty good up until this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
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 Okay,
Yeah.
so a minute, and nothing in a minute. How many minutes does it take for you to get to something?
That's a fair question.
Couple maybe?
Sure. Well, I don't know. How long was that out for? Goddamn.
That was a minute. When you said, is that a minute? It was about
was exactly a
57
minute.
seconds.
Okay.
And then the cat came in.
Yeah.
The clock was rolling.
Yeah.
You want to keep going with the Noah's Ark thing?
Yeah, how does it wrap?
Does it just,
Okay.
was the joke just
Yeah.
40 more days and nights exactly, or?
Yeah. No, so I tell my mom, I was like, Mom, what were you thinking? Is this ridiculous to do?
No.
This feels a little fucked up. They're like,
Better
fucking...
than bombing for a minute.
All right,
Save
all right.
yourself.
You're right. All right.
I'm giving you a chance.
You are, Tony. God bless. Okay, all right. So I was like, Mom, what were you thinking putting my twin brother and I in a crib under those pretenses, you know? And she was like, No, those animals come in 2. 1 boy and 1 girl, like you and your brother. And I was like, Mom, those animals come into each other. Like, I don't know how you missed that part in the Bible. It's one of the easier reads, you know? Like,
I think your mother's right because no one thinks about the animals fucking.
But that's exactly that's why they were on the ship. They were on the ship to make more babies once they got off the ship.
Yeah, but the stories kind of pretend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not real.
People.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one.
Catholics believe it. Catholics.
It's like a. It's
The
just
Catholics
a cute. It's kind
believe
of like a
it.
cute thing to do.
The Catholics believe it. You know?
Perhaps it's just a little too soon for your Noah's Ark jokes.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
I do have a 9/11 joke too.
Can we
Do
hear
it.
your 9/11 joke?
Do it.
I don't know if you know where you showed up tonight, but this is probably
Yeah.
more of a 9/11
How
crowd.
did you not choose the
This
9/11
one's longer.
joke?
I'll warn you, this one's longer, but
It's
is better.
longer?
It's
It's
better.
longer?
It's better.
How can it possibly be
It's-
longer?
I got-
Okay,
well,
I'm gonna
okay,
tell
we
you
got it,
what.
we got it, we got it.
Let's do it. Let's have a fun little experiment because
Let's
this
do
comes
it.
up. Hold on. This
Yeah.
comes up a lot in Kill Tony, which is
Yeah.
make everything shorter. Shorter is better. Nothing needs to be long. I'm going to take note of
Go
your
ahead.
joke, and then I'm going to tell you what parts you can edit out afterwards. This is a
okay,
new fun
great.
segment called Fix This Unbearable Shit.
Thank you.
Here we go with her
got it.
9/11 joke that she chose not to do, but instead a Noah's Ark joke deep into an episode of Kill Tony. Here is the 9/11 joke that she should have done that is somehow longer than the Noah's Ark joke, which is longer than a minute. Let's see how it goes. Here she is, Stephanie Robertson.
Thank you. I do miss growing up with my brother, though. I'm 26 now, so that means we grew up in the Osama bin Laden's hiding era. You guys remember that? Kind of miss it, right? I don't know. I do. I kind of miss it. I don't know. I miss the mystery, you know. I miss the chase. I miss making my brother cry after telling him, Osama's hiding in our basement, run! You know, because you didn't know where he was, you know? He could have been anywhere, right? And then my brother would cry in school because he was scared to go home to Osama, you know? and then you know what happens when you cry in school, right? Kids call you gay. But my brother came out as gay in high school. That's a callback to the first joke. And it is. I didn't get to. Okay. It's not. I didn't get to tell that part. I know. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, this joke isn't about 9/11.
No, it is. Hold on. You're okay. All right. Okay. So you're crying in school, and then luckily my brother came out as gay in high school, you know? So that was cool for him, except for it made my mom cry a lot. And I was like, wow, Stephan. I was like, you were in hiding? You were gay? Oh, fuck me, you guys. All right. I was like, oh my God, what a humiliation, you know?
No, this is good.
Oh my God.
No, it's fine. Finish
You want me to keep going? Okay, God damn it. All right. Okay, so he cried. He was gay in school. It made my mom cry a lot. He made my mom cry a lot, you know, or it made my mom cry a lot. She was crying like it was 9/11. Oh my God. I didn't like that she was crying. I didn't like she was so upset that my brother was gay. And so I was like, maybe I should fuck with her and tell her I'm gay too, you know? Because my brother and I are twins, like the towers. Stay with me, please. And I just love the idea of being like, Mom, I'm gay too. And then she'd be like, oh, they got the second one, you know? Hold on, I'm not done.
I'm gonna let you go forever.
Oh, I know. And I was like, yeah, sorry. Call my dad watching gay porn. We call him the Pentagon because no one saw that coming. You know what I mean? Oh. All right.
Some people just genuinely surprised out there at that part. Not a laugh at all, but...
Some of the words you could edit out in that are all of
All
them.
of them.
Yep, that's exactly...
Every single one.
That's exactly what I have here. Brought to you by Stay With Me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was absolutely incredible. My notes on editing are everything. It's a 9/11 joke because we will never forget this moment. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
When you leave, we're going to read all of the names in the audience.
This is his risky business up here on Kill
I
Tony.
know.
Anything can happen. Some people are made stars. Some people have a rough first outing.
Yeah.
What's great about this show, and I say it all the time, is that sometimes people, their first time on the show, come out and have, you know, what
I know.
you consider...
I showed up to Chicago and put my name in the bucket, and then I was like, you saw. So
Wait, what? You showed
I don't
up
have
to
a minute.
Chicago?
Yeah, and just threw my name in the bucket. I haven't practiced for a minute. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
you know, again, this is another big
I don't
thing.
think it's the minute.
Right. Another big thing that we
You're
talk
right.
about. Like if you go see Tim
All
or
right,
me
yeah.
or whatever in our big shows,
You get
our
in a
first
second.
joke, it
Yeah.
does not take a minute to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's on ba 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 boom, and then it starts, and then you ride the wave of momentum of laughter.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like there is no just gonna take 2 minutes. Just
No, you're right.
stick with
That's
me,
fair.
everybody. Stay with me doesn't
I
really
get-
work in the big
Well,
leagues.
You also feel
I should have just
angry
cut.
at the audience.
Huh?
You also feel like tonally you're angry at the crowd. You're like, stay with me, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm something. All right.
Do you love stand-up? Do you love doing this? Does it make
No.
you feel good?
I do. I do.
What do you do for a living?
I worked at a venue, an entertainment venue up north in Illinois.
Okay. Is it a
Yeah.
comedy venue?
No, it's like all arts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What do you do there?
I book shows.
Okay. What do
Yeah.
you do for fun?
I go outside. I like nature. I like swimming. I like the lake.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Who cares at this point, right? No one.
My goodness. No, I'm the host.
You're right.
I get to decide when this ends
Sure,
for
Tony.
you.
Yeah.
It's
I know, for real,
unbelievable.
I'm like-
it's a real power play. You know what
gonna
I mean?
toss
It's something
me
that I
out.
really built for myself. I'm just trying to find a redeeming quality about you, something that'll make the people, something we find a special. Maybe you have a special skill or a talent you could show us. Have you ever seen the show before?
I absolutely
okay,
have.
so
Yeah.
you kind of know.
I just didn't expect this to even be on it.
Right.
Yeah,
Why would you not
it's so
expect to be
special.
on it if you signed up for it? We hear this all the time.
You're right. I guess so. Just luck of the draw. You hear it
Luck
every
of
time.
the draw,
yeah.
indeed. You can't win if you don't
my-
play. You
You're
also
right.
can't lose if you don't play. You played.
Am I playing?
You're playing. This is it. This is your chance. So, of all the
You're making
Kill
me.
Tonys,
Yeah.
I'm making you what?
You're making me sweat.
Right.
Thanks, Tony.
This is what people sign up
That
for.
Tony
There's
sweat.
a chance,
There's
of
nothing
course.
like
You
it.
see it all the time. Like, whoa, this person signed up and their life changed. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, they're just selling out on the road.
Yeah.
And then there's the risk.
seen it,
The
Tony.
risk reward.
I
The show
know.
could be called Risk Reward.
Let's
Yeah.
change it.
It could be called that. But it's not.
It's not. It's Kill Tony.
It's not. It's called Kill. And then the guy who decides how much longer you're up here
All
for.
right.
Oh, here, I think she's gonna play a song. It's just a little bit longer, like your setups.
Is that
that's
Tony?
enough. That's enough. Red Band, that's enough.
Tony,
It's Lisa Loeb.
is that then the advice that you wrote down on that paper among all the other things? Is to cut it up?
There was
to
a
cut
lot.
it?
You don't need the when you were alive. You don't need the Osama hiding. You don't need the brother in the basement. You could do a brother in the closet joke there, though. You could punch that up. And then
Right.
came out as gay in high school, went down like the two towers. I already had that about 30 seconds
Right.
before you said it, that
Yeah.
your brother went down like the two towers.
Oh.
That's where I thought you were
I
going.
went-
But then you
yeah.
made it about you as well. You made you and your brother the two towers. But it was more of a what if I came out as gay, but no one thinks you're gay. You seem
Yeah.
like a straight woman that doesn't get dicked down. Oh no, did that come out? Sometimes my thoughts come out. Do you have a love life? Is there someone?
Yeah.
There's someone in
Yeah.
Chicago just
Yeah.
Is it a snowman? Just a cold little carrot. Okay, stop, Red Band. Somehow the Lisa Loeb is the most insulting thing about all of this. What does your boyfriend do?
No, I don't have a boyfriend, but I do get digged down.
You
so,
do?
Oh yeah.
You do. So you
Yeah.
have a hookup there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is that? When that happens, how does
Yeah.
that go down? You should go to his place. He comes to your place. He kicks the cats out of the way, and two cats or one?
Just one.
Okay.
I actually, dude, I was in a three-way for the first time. Blackout Wednesday, baby.
Let's find out about that. Tell us about that. That's compelling. That is the Noah's Ark of storylines.
Yeah.
We've come full circle.
Yeah, Blackout Wednesday.
Okay.
My best friend was in town, and then there was
She or he?
she.
Okay.
And then my old hookup was in town, and we got bored at a bar.
Bored at a bar. What were
Yeah.
you doing? Telling jokes?
Yeah,
Hear what I want to adore.
you're funny. That's funny.
Shit, Stephanie.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with you.
I know, Tony. It's upsetting, isn't it?
I don't know how.
Everyone
to say
back at home is gonna see this. That's like, that's the hi Tim. Jesus Christ.
this. You do this a
Tim.
lot. You do a lot of spots throughout the week. You work hard
Yeah,
at this.
yeah, I do a lot of spots throughout
It just
the week.
didn't go good, but that doesn't mean anything.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just in this one instance.
the most important. I watched this show. This is the
Right.
most important instance as
Well-
far as
well,
I'm
let's hope
concerned.
not.
Well, no, not for me. God,
You might
no.
want to skip next week's
Not
episode.
for me. Yeah. Oh, I fucking know, dude. But whatever. I mean, it was a learning experience. Thanks so much, Tony.
Well, it really should be,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean what I said, I mean, there's guys that write a brand new minute every single week on this show.
You're
It's
right.
an incredibly hard job.
It's
And
insane.
in those minutes, they have to have things that connect.
Yeah.
And when we go on the road and they do 15 minutes or 20 minutes or they're on their own for an hour, they're lining those things all up together. and those minutes become longer sets. So you should have more opportunities for laughter in those minutes.
Thanks, Tony.
And when you're doing all those spots that you do, you have to apply what you learned here to those. You're devastated, but meanwhile, you don't really have the funny part.
I know. You're
You can't have both. It's not like it went over 400 people's heads in here or anything like that.
Yeah.
You could put your location on ExpressVPN as North Korea next Monday around 8 o'clock, and you won't be able to see it.
ExpressVPN,
Yeah.
official sponsor of Kill Tony. What an amazing drop. So you're just visiting Austin, then you go back to Chicago. Do you have any plans to come back to Austin?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. How about this? Because this was an incredible learning lesson for everybody, I do believe. Why don't you come back in 6 months, and we'll give you a minute. We'll give you an automatic minute. We'll say she had a tough set, a tough interview. You have 6 months to prepare. Sound cool? You'll get an automatic spot. Deal?
Yes, of course.
There you go. We'll
Thank
see you in 6 months. Stephanie Robertson, everybody. There's a little redemption there at the end. A shot of opportunity. 6.
Thanks for listening, and any questions or concerns for the show, as well as voice recordings and voice messages that you'd like us to listen to, or advertisement inquiries, please forward those along to CanadianTalkWithStephan@gmail.com. Thanks. We also have a website, Stephanjackson.ca, where you can find a back catalog of all our episodes, and we're also on YouTube, where you can find the video versions.